Blue lights, dark street. A badge too loud, the street is quiet in that Atlanta way that feels borrowed, like the night is holding its breath. Blue lights slice the darkness, sharp and impatient, washing over cracked asphalt and parked cars. A rookie officer steps forward, shoulders squared, badge shining too brightly for the hour. It hasn't learned humility yet. His voice arrives before his questions do tight, rehearsed, already defensive. Inside the car, a black driver waits with his hands visible, palms open, posture calm. He speaks when spoken to. He doesn't rush. He doesn't argue. The contrast is immediate and unsettling. Authority leans forward. Dignity stays seated. The officer keeps talking. Questions stack on top of questions, each one drifting farther from the reason for the stop. Where are you coming from? Why are you here? Do you know why I pulled you over? The answers don't matter. The performance does. The badge wants acknowledgement. The silence refuses to give it. This isn't about traffic. It's about control. You can hear it in the cadence, see it in the way the officer circles the car, searching for justification that isn't there. Every calm response seems to irritate him more. Calm tonight feels like defiance. The driver's composure becomes a mirror reflecting the insecurity the officer is trying to hide. The power imbalance grows heavier by the second. One man carries a weapon and the law. The other carries restraint and the quiet confidence of someone who knows who he is. Tonight, the badge speaks louder than reason, and the street listens without. Blinking tonight, the blue lights keep flashing, relentless, theatrical, drawing an invisible audience closer. Viewers feel it in their chest now, that tightening sense that this moment is slipping away from routine and into something dangerous. But what neither man knew was that backup was already on the way, and it would change everything. Fresh out of training, the rookie carries the academy on his shoulders like armor. Every move feels practiced. Every sentence sharpened by instructors who taught him control before judgment. But control without confidence becomes something else. It becomes volume. It becomes posture. It becomes suspicion masquerading as procedure. From the bodycam's unblinking eye, the audience sees what the officer cannot. His questions are no longer questions. They are traps. Where are you headed turns into why are you here? Do you live around here becomes who do you think you are? The badge leads. The evidence follows, or doesn't, and that doesn't seem to matter. The driver answers slowly, carefully, like someone who understands the stakes. He does not mirror the aggression. He does not raise his voice to be heard. Each reply is clipped, respectful, almost painfully polite. For viewers who've lived this moment, the recognition hits hard. This isn't unfamiliar. This is survival. The officer mistakes calm for challenge. His tone tightens, brittle now, as if authority is slipping through his fingers. He repeats himself, louder each time, as though repetition might manufacture justification. The imbalance deepens. One man is armed with power. The other is armed with restraint. This is where ego enters the frame. Not loudly, not announced, but unmistakable. The rookie isn't enforcing law anymore. He's performing dominance. He circles the car again, finding nothing, narrating everything. The night fills with unnecessary words, each one pressing harder than the last. The Bodycam makes witnesses of millions who will one day watch this unfold. From this angle, the performance is impossible to ignore. The officer's shoulders stay rigid, his jaw clenched, his patience thin. He wants compliance that looks like submission. Anything less feels personal. The driver keeps his hands visible, keeps his breathing steady, keeps his dignity intact. His stillness becomes an accusation without saying a word. It exposes the imbalance for what it is. A rookie proving himself to no one who asked. Viewers feel the frustration rise, that familiar anger that comes when authority forgets its purpose. This stop was supposed to be about safety. It has become a test of ego, staged on a dark Atlanta street, with one man determined to win a battle that shouldn't exist. For many watching, this moment carries history. It echoes traffic stops remembered too well, stories shared at dinner tables, lessons passed quietly from parent to child. Speak calmly, move slowly. Do not give fear an excuse. The rookie does not hear that history, but the driver carries it with him, every second stretching longer than it should. The badge was meant to protect, yet tonight it presses down, heavy, with assumptions. The officer's certainty grows louder while his understanding shrinks. Procedure bends. Tone replaces cause. The stop becomes theater, and the driver becomes a symbol instead of a person. This is the space where trust erodes, where communities remember names and departments issue apologies later. The tension is no longer private. It feels communal, shared across screens, hearts tightening together as the night waits. No one breathes easy, and everyone senses consequences forming just beyond the headlights in silence now. The questions keep coming. The answers keep landing softly. And somewhere between them, the line between protection and harassment disappears. Then the radio crackles, and the night takes a turn no one was prepared for. The sound of another patrol car arriving cuts through the night like a held breath. Finally released. Tires crunch. A door opens. The rookie straightens instantly, spine locking into place as if validation has just pulled up behind him. This is the moment he's been waiting for. Reinforcement, confirmation, someone to witness his authority and nod along. But that's not what happens. The senior officer approaches without urgency, eyes moving calmly from the scene to the driver, then back to the rookie. There's no raised voice, no automatic agreement, just observation. The kind that weighs situations instead of rushing to dominate them. The night shifts almost imperceptibly, like pressure changing before a storm. The senior officer speaks to the driver first, not over him, not around him. To him, it's a small choice, but it lands heavy. The driver explains again, steady and composed, his words measured, his tone unchanged. This time, someone is actually listening. You can see it in the nod, the pause, the lack of interruption. For the first time tonight, the driver isn't performing calm into a void. It's being received. The rookie doesn't like that. He steps in too quickly, voice rising, correcting details no one challenged. He talks over both men, filling the space with urgency that doesn't match the moment. The insecurity leaks through. The uniform now, this was supposed to be his scene. His stop. His authority. The balance begins to tilt. The senior officer asks clarifying questions the rookie never did. Simple ones. Relevant ones. The kind that pull truth forward instead of forcing it out. Each question exposes how thin the justification really is. Each answer lands cleanly, without contradiction. The rookie's confidence starts to fray at the edges. Viewers watching later will notice the shift immediately. Comments will say it out loud. Did you see the backup's face? This feels different. Screens fill with paused frames and zoomed expressions. Something is happening here, and people can feel it even before they understand it. The rookie interrupts again. His tone sharpens, not with authority, but with frustration. He repeats earlier claims, louder now, hoping volume will restore control. It doesn't. The senior officer doesn't mirror the energy. He lets the rookie speak himself into a corner. Silence becomes strategy. The air tightens. This is no longer about a traffic violation. It's about professionalism under pressure. About how power responds when it's questioned quietly instead of challenged loudly. The senior officer's calm stands in contrast to the rookie's agitation, and the difference is impossible to ignore. The driver remains still, hands visible, voice even. He watches the exchange without inserting himself. He doesn't need to. The truth is doing the work for him. Online, the moment will slow down. Clips will circulate with captions pointing out what words can't explain. The way the rookie's shoulders tense. The way the senior officer listens. The way the driver never once loses composure. Millions of viewers will recognize the pattern instantly because they've lived it, or feared it, or taught their children how to survive it. The rookie tries once more to reclaim control, insisting on procedure, on protocol, on respect. But respect can't be demanded into existence. It has to be earned, and right now, it's slipping through his grasp. His voice cracks just enough to reveal what's underneath, a need to be seen as powerful. The senior officer finally looks directly at him, not harshly, not dismissively. Just directly. In that look is a question the rookie isn't ready to answer. Are we enforcing the law, or are we feeding an ego? The night seems to lean in, waiting. This is the moment the stop becomes something else entirely. A live demonstration of what authority looks like when it's grounded and what it looks like when it's hollow. The driver feels it. The rookie feels it, and soon the country will feel it too. And then the senior officer does something no one expected. Sir, the moment respect changed sides, the senior officer pauses, just long enough for the night to quiet again. Blue lights still flash, but their authority feels weaker now, almost decorative. He turns back toward the driver, voice measured, calm, stripped of performance. When he speaks, it's different. Not louder, not firmer, simply precise. Sir, he says. The word lands heavy. It's subtle, almost accidental, but it changes everything. Respect has entered the scene uninvited, and it refuses to leave. The driver looks up, not startled, not smug, just attentive, like someone who recognizes the tone because he's used it himself. The rookie freezes. You can see it in his posture. The way his shoulders stiffen without purpose now. Confusion flickers across his face, quick and unguarded. Sir, that wasn't part of the script. The authority he'd been building collapses inward, folding under its own weight. His voice, once sharp, loses its edge. The senior officer continues, asking a clarifying question. But this time, it isn't framed around suspicion. It's framed around understanding. The driver answers, still calm, still deliberate. And then, without drama, without announcement, the truth surfaces. The driver isn't just compliant. He isn't just composed. He's command. The realization doesn't explode. It seeps in. A title is mentioned, a role clarified. Years of service. Implied in the way he carries himself. The rookie's eyes widen slightly, then dart away. He recalculates too late. The power he thought he was exercising has been an illusion this entire time. The silence stretches. Real authority doesn't rush to fill it. The senior officer's body language shifts almost imperceptibly. His stance straightens, not in dominance, but in recognition. What follows isn't humiliation. It's protocol, respect, rendered naturally, without apology or hesitation. The salute is crisp, clean, undeniable. This is unreal. People will type later, replaying the clip over and over. The salute gave me chills. Online, the moment ignites. Screens fill with side-by-side comparisons. The rookie's earlier bravado contrasted with his current stillness, the driver's unbroken calm from start to finish. Comment sections flood with something rare: validation. Not revenge, validation, because this wasn't about catching someone, slipping. It was about revealing who never had to perform power in the first place. The rookie tries to recover, words stumbling out softer now, deferential, suddenly aware of hierarchy. But the damage is done. Authority, once misused, doesn't snap back into place just because the truth arrives. It exposes what was always there. The driver never changes tone. He doesn't lecture. He doesn't gloat. He doesn't remind anyone of who he is. He simply remains himself, and that is enough. His restraint becomes the loudest statement of the night. For viewers who have lived under scrutiny, who have learned to measure every word, every movement, this moment lands like a release. Not because the driver outranks the officer, but because dignity finally outweighs suspicion. Because composure outlasts aggression. Because truth doesn't need to shout. National attention follows fast. Headlines write themselves. Pundits argue. Departments release statements heavy with caution. But none of that compares to the raw power of the footage itself. A rookie performing authority without understanding it. A commander enduring disrespect without surrendering dignity. The balance has fully shifted now. The night no longer belongs to the badge that shouted the loudest. It belongs to the calm that refused to break. The rookie stands smaller somehow, uniform unchanged, but meaning stripped away. This wasn't the validation he expected. This was exposure. A lesson delivered without cruelty, without force, without raised voices. And that's why it resonates. Because in a system that often mistakes dominance for strength, this moment shows the difference. Real power doesn't need permission to exist. It doesn't escalate to be seen. It doesn't crumble when questioned. The salute echoes far beyond the street, far beyond Atlanta. It travels into living rooms, onto phones, into conversations parents will have with their children about how to survive, and what dignity looks like when tested. For one quiet second, the hierarchy is clear, not just in rank, but in character. But accountability was only beginning, and the department was watching. Power, exposed by calm, the fallout doesn't arrive with sirens or speeches. It comes quietly, through paperwork, policy language, and the cold clarity of review. Bodycam footage is released. The same blue lights, the same voices. But now the nation is watching. Every pause is replayed. Every interruption dissected. What once felt like a single night on a dark Atlanta street becomes a mirror held up to an entire system. Public pressure builds fast, not fueled by rage alone, but by recognition. People see themselves in the driver's restraint. They hear echoes of their own experiences in the rookie's tone. Comment sections fill with stories that never made headlines. The footage doesn't create outrage. It confirms it. The department moves swiftly. Internal review becomes unavoidable. The rookie is fired, not because the driver held rank, not because the moment went viral, but because of choices, because authority was wielded without judgment, because ego replaced duty, because professionalism cracked under the smallest test of restraint. The firing isn't framed as punishment. It's framed as consequence. And that distinction matters. The driver never issues a statement filled with anger. He doesn't demand retribution. He doesn't posture as a victor. His silence, once again, speaks louder than outrage ever could. He lets the moment stand on its own, trusting the truth to carry the weight. That's where the real lesson lives. Power, this story reminds us, is not volume. It is not intimidation. It is not how loud your voice gets when you think no one is listening. Power is how you behave when you believe you are unseen. It is how you treat someone when you assume they have no leverage. It is restraint under pressure, standards under scrutiny, dignity when provoked. For a progressive, immigrant-rooted audience, this resonates deeply. Many know what it means to be evaluated before being understood, to be questioned before being heard, to remain calm not because it's easy, but because survival demands it. This moment doesn't just validate that experience. It elevates it. The driver's composure dismantled abuse without confrontation. His calm stripped authority of its mask. He didn't defeat power by overpowering it. He exposed it by refusing to mirror its worst instincts. That's why this moment travels. It moves across timelines and borders, across communities that have learned, sometimes painfully, that dignity can be an act of resistance. That calm can be a shield. That truth, when held steadily enough, eventually forces accountability into the open. The rookie fades from the story quickly, almost intentionally. This isn't about destroying a young career. It's about naming a behavior and refusing to excuse it. Systems don't change through humiliation. They change through standards, applied consistently and publicly, and the standard here was clear. The driver's identity mattered less than his character. His rank mattered less than his restraint. In a world obsessed with dominance, this story offers a different model of strength, one that doesn't need to shout, one that doesn't escalate to feel real. Parents watch this clip and recognize a lesson they've tried to teach their children quietly for years. Keep your hands visible. Control your tone. Protect your dignity, even when it costs you comfort. The footage doesn't romanticize that burden. It acknowledges it. And in that acknowledgement, there is something close to justice. This isn't a feel-good ending. It's a clarifying one. The system didn't collapse. The street didn't erupt. What changed was subtler and more important. A line was drawn, not by force, but by example. Not by outrage, but by restraint. That's why this moment lingers, because it doesn't ask viewers to cheer. It asks them to reflect, to reconsider what strength looks like, to question who benefits when power goes unchecked and who pays the price when dignity is mistaken for weakness, the night ended quietly. The blue lights eventually turned off. The street returned to stillness. But the lesson kept moving long after the cameras stopped recording. Power, exposed by calm, doesn't disappear. It transforms, and the final truth settles in, steady and undeniable. Power isn't proven by who you can intimidate. It's revealed by how you behave when no one thinks you matter.